Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Mind the Moment's Thursday morning gathering brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. As you all know that have been with us before, this is a place where we invite experienced mindfulness instructors to speak with us about what mindfulness means to them and to discuss as a community how we can incorporate these practices into our daily lives. I'm Suzanne Rowe, Palacino, and I am delighted to be here with Tara Healey, founder and director of Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare's mindfulness program. Good morning, Tara.
Well, likewise, Suzanne, I am delighted to be here with you and with this community. So welcome, everyone.
Yeah, it's so great to be here. I know we're coming to the end of the week, but it's just such a great way to usher in the end of the week to be together with this community. So today, Tara will start us off with a question, and then she'll speak a little bit about a theme and then go right into practice. I mean, we'll focus a lot on practice today. So if you go to the bottom of your screen, open up your chat, and then once you open it up, you'll notice a blue drop-down menu, and you can click on that and click from host and panelist to everyone. And then everyone will be able to see the comments as you type them. So with that, a special welcome, by the way, again, to anybody that's new. I like to say this each morning because each morning we have different folks that come in. And of course, each morning we have a different group of people that can join us regularly. So we're so happy to have those folks here as well. So Tara, with that, how would you like to start us off with a question?
Yes, and Suzanne, I just want to make sure that folks can type their questions because I know there were some. Okay, all right.
Yep.
And I just want to sort of echo about new folks because I've been doing a couple of presentations within Point 32 Health and have sent all the info to access these sessions. So hopefully we have a few new people, which would be great, and welcome. Yeah, so the question is really related to this time of year. And, it's very odd, the weather we're having, and we're moving into what's going to be a beautiful weekend. But we're also moving into a time that is one traditionally, and this is true in nature, very often that, certain animals go into hibernation, other animals leave the cold and head south. And, so it's a time of quieting historically. And my question is related to that. So how does that show up for you in terms of, kind of entering this, we're in November, although it doesn't feel that way, but heading into November, December, January, February, these months of quieting and slowing as happens in nature. How does that show up for you in your life, and how do you feel about it? You don't have to answer both. You could do one or you could do both. So how does it show up for you, and how do you feel about it? Suzanne, let's start with you.
So, Tara and I were talking this morning because on every Wednesday I teach on a theme, and this coming Wednesday I've decided to teach on this theme, and that's how we got here to this question this morning. I'm feeling that I'm speeding, like I was talking to some friends online. I usually do Wordle every morning. I had been doing that during the pandemic, and I haven't been doing it at all. And I'm really feeling that, like, that used to be my quiet time in the morning, sitting with my dog. And I've kind of gone into a different level of activity. So just noticing that and wanting to find a little bit more of that quiet time. So how about you, Tara?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that I kind of look forward to the I would say the hibernation aspect of it, that being much more kind of inward, and even the quiet of just I love the snow. So after a snowfall, when it's just so quiet, beautifully quiet, I look forward to that. And it feels like there's a little less doing, and yeah, so I really love this time of year, but love to see what
Yeah, a lot of, there's a mix here.
yeah,
Some people mention that it's difficult with less sun. I have a family
yeah,
member that uses one of those lights because she has the impact of less sun.
yeah,
So I get that. 'Cause I'm
yes,
anxious around the holidays, sleeping later,
yes,
because I have a
yes,
hard time
yes,
waking up. Yeah,
yeah.
I
Looking
do
forward to the
enjoy the
end of
cozy.
daylight savings, right, which will happen because of this, but also find the longer nights challenging. Yeah,
Yeah, I find that as well too. I find I don't go out at night anymore.
yeah,
Like, I might normally kind of go out and do some errands, but once it gets dark, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I'm done.
yeah.
It
Dark
can be a nice
and
thing.
cold. Yeah, definitely. Yes, yeah. Wow, thank you, everybody. Yep, I can see where
Yeah, the beach, Susan's mentioned
yeah.
about the beach town. I'm actually going to Cranes Beach this weekend because
Are
if
you?
you're in the area, it's going to be 74 degrees on Sunday.
I
Crazy
know.
time.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. So I think it is a bit mixed. Yeah. Yeah. So, well, with that, I say, let's go ahead and start our practice. So, you want to sit or stand. So standing, whatever feels like it's going to work best for you this morning. Take that posture. And if you're especially sleepy, standing is a great way to practice, anytime that you're feeling tired, doing a standing meditation or even seated with the eyes open. So whichever posture you're taking, you want to sit or stand in a way that is engaged so that the spine is straight but not stiff. Being careful not to lean back, so you actually have to hold yourself upright. And eyes can be open or closed. If you're going to keep the eyes open, just gaze downward a little bit and take 2 deep breaths on your own and make that exhalation a little bit longer than the inhalation. And it's usually how I start my practice every morning, with a breath or two as a way to kind of settle any surface tension. And surrendering your weight into the support of the surface. And knowing that you are supported by the earth below. Aware of the points of contact with the body and the surface. Just that subtle point of connection and noticing what that actually feels like. Notice any other sensations in the body just from kind of moving around this morning. The heartbeat or kind of pulsing or a tingling vibration of any kind, temperature. So a wide angle lens over the whole body and just receiving the various sensations that you're aware of that are being offered. And let's just take a moment to move from whole body awareness to open. The field of awareness includes sound in the room or outside of the room. Just noting hearing. Really nothing else to do. Allowing things to come to you, sound and body sensation. No need to go looking, just a receptive attitude in the mind is what's really helpful in this practice. And through that, learning to have some balance of mind, especially with things that are unsettling or that are difficult. So let's begin to bring awareness back in, but of course, allowing sound to remain as it will in the background. It's not a problem. And bring awareness back into the whole body and begin to narrow within the body the focus of awareness to the sensations you feel when you breathe. And so as you inhale and exhale, where in the body do you feel the sensations of that? You know, is it kind of the belly rising and falling, abdomen area? Perhaps it's more noticeable in the chest or even the nostrils, the air entering and leaving each time you breathe in and out. Could be something else. So it could be a really narrow focus on the breath, like air going in and out of the nostrils, or it could be a wider lens as you notice the breath. And always, alternatively, you can use something else. So if you have a consistent sound in the background, you can use that to anchor the wandering mind. Or you could use the palms of your hands and the point of contact on the top of your thighs. So in a way, it doesn't really matter what you choose. What matters is the quality of awareness that you can bring to that particular thing, that area. And the idea is that as the mind wanders, which it will a million times, as soon as you notice it, make a soft mental note thinking, soften the body. There's always a subtle contraction when thoughts slip in unnoticed. There's a subtle bodily contraction that tends to be unnoticed. So as soon as you see a thought, thinking, soften, and then return your attention, escort your attention back to breath sensation, another body sensation if that's working better, or sound. So I'm going to be silent now for the next several minutes. And each time the mind wanders and you notice it, not a problem. Soften, return your attention over and over again. noticing where the mind is, gently releasing the memory or planning, whatever narrative is going on, just releasing gently, softening the body, and escorting your attention back to whatever you're using as your anchor this morning. So tracking sensation of breath or tracking sound, anchoring your awareness to the sensations in the body or to sound. And as we bring this meditation to a close, may we be peaceful and at ease. May our heart be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our bodies healthy and strong. May the merit of our practice be for the benefit of all beings. And as you feel ready, if your eyes were closed, you can open the eyes. And even if they were open, always helpful to take a moment just to reorient to the space that you're in, take a stretch.
Thank you, Tara. This was
yeah.
especially helpful this morning. I really the body scan was really what I needed this morning. So thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think it's just a helpful way to start, is to just receive, because often our mornings are busy, and, then just tapping into when we slow down, like, what does it actually feel like, what's happening, and receiving. I think that, the thing that I emphasize the most for myself as a reminder and for everyone is the attitude in the mind, just checking that, and receptivity in this practice is important. So with things that are both pleasant and unpleasant, a receptive which is also sometimes the phrase is turning toward what's happening. Even if when it's pleasant, it's much easier, but it goes for both pleasant and unpleasant, thoughts, emotions, or body sensations. The idea of really receiving. So even like a muscle cramp, if when you're meditating, you have a cramp, to leave your primary object, your anchor, and to bring your attention to the physical expression of the cramp. It sounds counterintuitive, like it could exacerbate it, but the idea is that you're understanding the nature of change by leaving your primary object, whether it's breath or something else, and going to that, let's say, cramp in your muscle, and just watching that, because it has a life and then it moves. So you're seeing like its nature is to change. That's true with thoughts too, that all thoughts, emotions, body sensations kind of arise, do their thing, and move on. So it's a really significant teaching in mindfulness and meditation.
Yeah, what you're saying, Tara, is reminding me so much of a podcast I was listening to recently. 10% Happier had Tuere Salah on.
Yes.
And she, first of all, is one of my favorite meditation teachers.
Yeah, I agree.
And secondly, she was talking about overthinking
Mm,
in meditation and in life. And she's so wise about this subject. So I'm going to share it in the chat, just because I'm probably going to end up listening to this 3 or 4 times because it's that good.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So and also I just want to say to anybody on the call, like, we tend to use these last time together to pose questions. So anybody that wants to ask anything or offer something to the community, anything you want to say, or share a resource. So it could be a book you've read that has been impactful, or as Suzanne's doing, a podcast that she recently listened to. And I just want to echo that Tuere Salah is an amazing teacher.
Yeah. And I don't know if folks have a tricky time with when we share links on the chat. What you can do is just click on it and it will open up your browser in the background so you can go back to it later. Or if you right click on the chat, whatever, like the one little piece of the chat that I've shared, if you right click on it and copy it, you can just paste it into a Word document or something on your computer. So I wanted to share that because sometimes it's challenging for folks to or you can screenshot it.
Yeah. But 10% Happier, completely, I think one of the better podcasts out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really, really good. I listen as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So, does anyone have any any other thoughts about this time that Tara's brought up? And we could also sign off, but I wanted to ask if anyone else has any other comments about hibernation, or Rizvana has mentioned 74 degrees and climate change, which
I know. I wanted to also mention that as well, that,
brings up a lot of energy in our bodies.
Yeah. And as good as the sun feels, this is really odd. Very odd. Yeah. So, yeah,
I do feel like, and also with the election coming up, I know there's all kinds of feelings that brings up. So I feel like this time is especially helpful to come into our meditation and to find something that grounds you.
Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah. I mean, in fact, I was talking with my sister, and I was just saying that this week I have felt like an inordinate amount of anxiety, just a lot of anxiety. And I'm so grateful for this practice because there's a method, there's a way to actually work with it. And, to rather than distract or push away, to feel it. It's still hard. It's still hard. But yeah, I've had a lot of anxiety this week, I think for all the reasons and more. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting when you mention that, Tara, it brings to mind that I think in our in past years, we've kind of grown up to push away these difficult feelings. That's just been the way,
Right.
we've our society tells us. But now, when you mentioned in your meditation about really feeling, feeling that anxiety and seeing how it ramifies
Yeah.
itself in the body, it's an important point to come into the body and understand how these things affect us, because that's how we can help them move to a different place.
Right. Yeah. I know it is an interesting thing, I think, because in our world, like, we're sort of taught, but it's somewhat subliminal, but not always subliminal, that to seek entertainment, to kind of seek distraction. And that keeps us from seeing what's there. And I also love that we can test it for ourselves, like be like, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with seeking entertainment, but it's, within, it's important to watch because there is a lot of benefit to turning toward, to being with, to experiencing that which is unpleasant, and to really feel it in the body, like without the narrative. I mean, the narrative often brings it on, but then seeing that, as soon as something has been seen, I always say it's like the culprit has been seen, it weakens its hold on us a bit. Yeah, so I don't know,
We
sometimes
could talk forever about that.
Oh, it's 9, right. Sorry, everybody.
So, thank you, Tara. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I know folks might have a 9:00 meeting. Yeah. And folks that need to jump off, please do. Don't feel like you can't do that, please. Nice to see you, and we'll see you on Tuesday. I'm just reading Sandy's. I've had difficult feelings of anxiety towards leaving my house and getting ready to host Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's got a lot to it.
Right.
That's got a lot to it.
Yep.
So, yeah, we
sure.
have to, sometimes we need to let ourselves just, in some ways work with that, can be challenging, but.
Yeah. No.
So thank you to everyone for, this has just been a rich chat. So
Thanks
for
everybody.
coming.
Let's see what
and turning towards discomfort brings a kind of empowerment, even though it's not easy.
Yeah. That's why
Go ahead.
Well, it's just that it seems counterintuitive. Like, well, am I going to make this thing bigger because but it's how you receive it. It's actually feeling it physically in the body and watching its nature. The thing I always, that I find really helpful is that if there's something going on that's really challenging and feeling it, like, I know it's a law of the universe. It's not going to stay that way forever. It's a law. Like, it's just not. And so if I can be with it now, it loosens its grip and I see its nature more clearly. So, yeah.
Yeah. And on this point, because I totally agree with what you're saying, Tara, it gives us a more agency to deal with these things in a different way.
Right.
I cannot say enough about this podcast with Tueri. It just, it clarifies so much about our thoughts and how we can disconnect in some ways from them because they may not be true. So,
right. It's always a good question. Is this true? Like, do I know this is true? Yeah.
We could talk forever about this, but as we move towards the rest of our mornings, just saying thank you for joining, and thank you, Tara, for asking this really good question.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Good to be with you this morning, and have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. See you soon. Have a good weekend.